what you want, what you want.
And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to Project Pate. It is episode 5, and we are, as always, broadcasting high atop Jordan Hall in Studio 218. The dress is casual, and the opinions are plentiful, and Greg Allen joins us for segment 1 this week. What's it like leading off the show?
It's big time, big time. You know, I see you see my talent, and I like what you're doing.
What actually I saw was the fact that our other two guests could not be here on time, and so out of necessity, we bumped you to the first segment this week. Not to rain on your parade, but that's what's going on.
That hurts right here.
Okay. That hurts. Week 8 in the books, college football. What did you take away?
We're less than a week away from the throwdown in T-Town. Real grass versus synthetic grass. Saving Bowl 4. And the Corn Dogs versus
Why does
Crimson.
everything have to be a nickname? Why does every game? You're talking about LSU at Alabama.
We're talking about Nick Saban's old team versus Nick Saban's new team.
We are, which would be LSU at Alabama. Why does everything have to have a nickname?
Because it's Bama versus LSU.
I think the name, I think just the LSU and Alabama says it all.
How about number 1 versus number 2?
How about it?
Well,
Sounds a lot better than what else you just listed.
I mean, goodness gracious, just throw me a bone here.
What do you have to say about it? I mean, Les Miles, who we'll hear from momentarily, he's not going to join us, but we will hear from him. Reinstates all of his players. So,
you had to know that was coming.
Yeah, so both teams will be full strength. What do you see? You know, we're 2 weeks away, by the way, not less than a week away. So we'll get into this matchup more in detail next week. But just brief overview, what do you see right now?
I feel that Alabama has a slight advantage, especially on the defensive side of the ball, with Nick Saban and Kirby Smart being their defensive coordinator and their head coach. You know, Les Miles has pulled some games out of his butt, and LSU has been, you know, skeptical on defense, you know, and, you know, West Virginia put up a lot of yardage against them, and I think they're going to have a hard time stopping Trent Richardson.
In what promises to be a ruckus environment in Bryant-Denny Stadium
Ruckus.
Next Saturday night. As I said, Dano has located some video for us from Coach Les Miles down at LSU. As you know, multiple suspensions last week for the Auburn game, not like it mattered, but multiple suspensions last week for marijuana use. Let's go to Les Miles now and see what exactly happened there. Roll the tape, Dano.
I certainly understand the interest surrounding what seems to be news. The problem with that news is it's internal discipline and internal, function of a team. And I'm not inclined to be forthcoming in information. I'm not reactionary to needs of media and things external to this building.
And so that really kind of just actually does not explain anything at all. Basically, what I got from that was whoa, 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 whoa.
And I can interpret that, and he's saying, yeah, we knew we were going to reinstate them for the Alabama game.
Really, though, I don't really sense much animosity, whether it be from Alabama fans or the college football world in general, even the media, which would normally be really hard on the coach for doing something like this, because short of murdering someone, I think that everyone wanted to see these 3 guys reinstated because you want to see both teams at full strength.
Yeah, I mean, you know, LSU fans would hold that against Alabama the whole time if Alabama were to win in a few weeks. So, I mean,
we show the Les Miles clip for 2 reasons. Number 1, because he's great to laugh at. But number 2, because a comparison was made earlier this week from one of our most dedicated viewers between you and Coach Les Miles.
There's no possible way that somebody could compare us to. I mean, we're total opposites. I mean, Les Miles is a babbling buffoon,
and you're go ahead, and you're.
I'm just a babbling, good-looking guy. I mean, what can we say? I mean, just take the buffoon out of it.
Upsets galore last week, as predicted on this show. By the way, I will give you a little credit because you're wrong a lot. So when you're right, I give you credit. You called Michigan State over Wisconsin. Good job.
I do what I can do.
Texas Tech also over Oklahoma. Bottom line here, we had a lot of knee-jerk reaction in the polls this week. Wisconsin falls behind a Nebraska team that they beat 48-17 less than a month ago. So while I don't agree with that, you had to see this coming. And we pointed out on the show last week, it's college football. Way too unpredictable. Clemson avoids a potential trap game with UNC, but they play Georgia Tech this week. Now, this was a game that over the past month some of us on the set right up here were kind of looking forward to, and I still do look forward to it. And
Georgia Tech, or what happened to Georgia Tech this weekend?
They're now under the radar. That's what happened.
Way under the radar. They just went down to Miami and got beat 24-7.
All they're doing is lying in the weeds. Now the weeds may be 10 feet tall right now, but they are lying in those weeds.
I told you that triple option split veer Paul Johnson Georgia Southern offense cannot compete in big boy football.
You're Les Milesing on me right now.
I am not Les Milesing on you.
are.
I'm just being dead honest with you.
Georgia Tech beats Clemson this weekend.
If they do, I will come on this show naked next week and shoot the show naked.
Well, that's wonderful, because Dano tells me that we're getting the technical capabilities to blur and edit language out. So good news there. Your second point.
The beatdown in the Bayou this past weekend with LSU just manhandling Auburn and throttling them. But not only that,
interesting quotes from quarterback Clint Mosley.
Watching Clint Mosley's interview, I mean, he basically said, to me, in the gist of it, that Auburn was a better team almost than LSU. That LSU was not that good, and that they could that they should have beat LSU. My point to you, Clint Mosley, is losers make excuses, winners make it happen, and that's I don't know what else to say.
Clint Mosley, apparently a regular viewer of the show. It is a down year in general, in my opinion, for college football. A very top-heavy year. Because at the top, you could argue it's never been stronger with LSU and Alabama looking like a couple of NFL teams. But USC, listen to this list: USC, Notre Dame, Texas, Ohio State, Michigan, Florida, Florida State, Miami. You name the perennial powerhouse, and aside from a few exceptions, they're down this year. And that's made room in the top 10 for the likes of Oklahoma State and Stanford, and you've got your Clemson Tigers, Boise State. Is this cyclical, or is this something that is becoming a new trend in college football, and why?
Like you said, Alabama and LSU has just separated themselves, I think, from the rest of the field also. I think it's very cyclical, and it's not – I don't see it trending for many years to come. I look for, the big boys of college football to stay within the top 5, top 10. I think as soon as Chris Peterson gets away from Boise, I don't think you'll hear too much more from that program. If he leaves, Clemson. I think their coaching is going to catch up to them before long. Once Taj Boyd and Sammy Watkins leave, I think they'll fall back to mediocrity. Every program, has its ups and its downs. But you look at Texas, we talked about them last week. They've just kind of fallen off the map. They can't hang with the big boys anymore right now. You talk about reloading and rebuilding. You got to reload instead of rebuild. But a lot of programs are in the rebuilding mode. And, Florida went out and hired Will Muschamp. So, they're kind of in a rebuilding transition, brought a whole new offense in with Charlie Weiss.
I think you've got to hope that it's cyclical. Because the bottom line here, aside from fans in Boise and Clemson and Palo Alto and Stillwater, college football is better when these teams are clicking on all cylinders, in my opinion. And that would be the prevailing opinion amongst college football in general.
Well, you think back a few years down the road when Penn State was better, when Michigan was at the top of their game. Where have those teams fallen off? A lot of teams have just fallen off the map and kind of, wilted away. And now, you see Michigan's kind of on the rise again. I won't say Notre Dame because, they go to USC last week and get beat. Or USC went there. I can't remember where it was. But anyways, they get beat last week. So, I think it's just a trend right now that these mid-majors and these smaller schools and these bigger conferences are kind of stepping up to the top when the bigger schools are down.
Top 5 this week.
Bama and LSU just separated themselves from everybody else. Clemson, Oklahoma State, and Andrew Luck. Sorry, I thought that was Oklahoma.
No, you probably said it right the first time. Give me Bama, LSU, Oklahoma State. I have to bump up to number 3, and it pains me to do so because saying that you're the number 3 team in the country should mean something, and right now it just doesn't mean a lot. I've got Clemson at number 4. I'm not bumping Oklahoma out of my top 5 because I still think that they're one of the top 5 teams in the country.
And they barely lost that game. They got down, I think it was like 24
to 7 barely lost 41-38 and barely lost 20-17 are two different things. They embarrassed themselves in their program Saturday night. Props to Tubbs, by the way. But in a big game, I still like Oklahoma over Clemson or Oklahoma State. And they will have the chance against Oklahoma State later this year. And if they do win that game, and I expect the Sooners to, that will create all-out BCS chaos.
Yes, it will. And it also, no title game in the Big 12. So what does that do? 2 teams with 1 loss. I mean, it's just going to show that college football needs a playoff.
In 10 seconds or less, Georgia versus Florida this weekend, who do you have?
I like the Bulldogs. I mean, the 5-game swing, see if we can make it 6. I think Muschamp kind of builds a little too much anticipation for Florida, and they choke.
10 seconds. Thank you for being here. Come back next week.
Was that 8 seconds? Or?
Thank you for being here. Come back next week.
I'll be here.
Laurie and Sills momentarily. Stick around. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. It is segment 2 for episode 5, Project Pate. A very special guest has rejoined us this week, all the way from Cancun, Mexico. WTVM's own Laura Ann Sills. We're glad to have you back. You look tan, rested, and ready to go.
I feel so rested, and it was a wonderful vacation. Great weather the entire time, although they are about to be hit with a huge hurricane, so it's glad we got out. But I'm already praying for those sweet friends we met down there who served us and entertained us while we were down there.
Off the air, we've been talking a lot about Mexico in the past 20 minutes. You seem to like that place a lot. I've never been there, but it got me to thinking maybe you should sort of investigate maybe some occupations that call for you to visit Mexico regularly.
Well, the only occupation I thought of while I was down there is something on a resort. I don't know if I would want any type of job where I had to be inside Mexico. We were on the Yucatan Peninsula, very touristy.
I was thinking more along the lines of a drug mule.
That's not going to happen.
No.
But thank you for offering
Okay.
that. It's nice of you.
So let's get into some real stories here.
Yes, let's do.
We have to talk about this first. Most hamburgers you eat maybe quarter pound, half pound.
Yeah.
So it makes all the sense in the world that in Detroit they felt the need to make a 338-pound hamburger to set a world record.
Ridiculous is the only word for it, and I think that was the headline.
Read the specs right quick.
All right, let me tell you. This burger, if you want to buy it, is going to cost you $2,000. You're going to get 15 pounds of lettuce, 30 pounds of bacon, 36 pounds of cheese, all on top of this hamburger. If you eat the entire thing, which I cannot imagine it being possible, it's 540,000 calories.
Dano, throw the picture up for me right quick, if you will. What I picture when I look at this right here is a kid in Ethiopia. This is why a lot of people hate America. Aside from the fact that Detroit, you're supposed to be in recession right now, yet we still have enough money to make 338-pound hamburgers. A kid in Ethiopia looks at this. Those kids won't eat that hamburger, or they won't eat the equivalent of that hamburger throughout their entire life.
Yeah.
And yet we just throw food away like it's nothing.
You're throwing it away. There's no way a group of 12 people could eat that. There's no way. 338 people might be able to eat that hamburger.
In other news, a mother has given birth to her 3rd child. That's great news.
Good news.
The story here is that she didn't know she was pregnant. Now, I am not a woman, but you are.
I am. Thank you for noticing.
You have never given birth, but you can identify with this story more than I can. In your mind, is it possible not to know you're pregnant?
I have seen the stories and watched the TV shows where they show these women, but I just don't know how it happens. I know there are some medical mysteries. I know that you may not know that you've gained that much weight or be, able to see that, but I just feel like if you're in tune with your body, you would at least know that there's another human being inside of you.
And then we get to the rest of the story, because it turns out this woman was at a friend's house moving furniture around.
And I know what you think about that.
She picks up, no you don't, she picks up a mattress and, oh, I'm about to have a baby. Shocker. The only problem here is, guess what her friend does for a living?
I guess she's in some sort of medical field.
She's a nurse. How convenient. How convenient to find out that you're 9 months pregnant at your friend the nurse's house.
I know. So you think it's a conspiracy, but how much money do you think she would have made from this story?
We're talking about her right now.
And she's making lots of money from this show. She is, everyone.
Speaking of children, and I know you work in the news industry, so you hear a lot of horror stories about Halloween. Give the young Sparkies out there in the crowd a few tips for safe trick-or-treating.
All right, here are some tips for safe trick-or-treating. make sure that your costume, if it's really dark, it has some reflective tape on it. You carry a flashlight or a glow stick, something that's fun, so that your parents can watch you. If your parents do not go with you, make sure there's an adult. And while we say never take candy from strangers, children, never take candy from strangers, except this random one day of the year. So make sure your parents go through your candy first. And parents, you do want to know that all those sexual predators out there, they do have to be in their home, or in some cases they have to go to a certain place at a jail or at the sheriff's department while trick-or-treating is going on, so that they cannot be on the streets and your child will not go to their home.
Avoid houses with basements.
Mm-hmm.
Avoid candy with strings tied to it.
Mm-hmm.
Avoid driveways that have panel vans parked in them.
Now that's being stereotypical.
What have we said about stereotypes?
You believe that they're true, and that's why they're stereotypes.
Exactly. Now, picture this. I know you don't work for an NBC affiliate, but MSNBC To Catch a Predator trick-or-treat special. Does it have a future?
Yeah, I think that's great.
That would be awesome. Let's run that by Chris Hansen. Have your people get in touch with his people.
I don't need people. I'll talk to them tomorrow.
You do not have a vacation plan for next week, correct?
No, I'll be here.
Alrighty. Until next week, thank you for joining us. Laura Ann Sills, Tier Woodson momentarily. And we're back. Final segment today. Tier Woodson now joins us for some pop culture news. Before we do that, though, PSA announcement alert. Go for it.
Yes, hey guys, hope y'all having a wonderful and blessed day. Have a little announcement. Genesis Gospel Ministries Choir here on campus is having their annual fall concert on November 12th at 7:30 University Hall. Tickets are on sale now. In advance, they're $3 for students, $7 to the public, and at the door, they're $5 for students and $10 for the public. So you can get them from any Genesis member, including myself. So come out and support, and you'll get to see a big part of my life, which is, of course, my religious and spiritual side. So.
And when you buy your tickets, make sure to say that Josh sent you. It will not get you a discount, but it will help spread the word about the show, and that's what we're here for.
Yes.
Juliana, let's get into some pop culture news. Juliana Rancic, co-host of E! News, the past 2 weeks, her battle with breast cancer has been made public and well documented. So update us on what's going on there.
Yeah, she came out a few weeks ago, and it was a big decision that she decided to make because in her eyes she felt like she could be an advocate for others, of course, righteously. And the reason she actually found out that she had it was, as if y'all follow Juliana, her and Bill have their own show on Style Network, and she's been roughly trying to get pregnant for about 2 years now. And her doctor, she does IVF. Well, she was doing IVF again because the first time it failed, like she got pregnant and had a miscarriage. But anyway, so her doctor said she needed to get a mammogram, and so she got it. And of course, they found the 2 lumps, and she had surgery. And she took a week off from work, and she came back on E! On Monday, and she's doing really well. Of course, she says she has a long journey ahead of her. So, but she's really happy to be back. And to all my women, please go out and get your mammogram done. They always say at age 35, but if it does run in your family and is a history, do it earlier.
From everything that's right in the entertainment world to everything that's wrong.
Everything that's wrong.
Lindsay Lohan, probation revoked for her. Get me up to speed on what's going on there.
Oh, Lindsay. Oh, how we miss old Lindsay. I miss the Parent Trap Lindsay.
I miss Mean Girls Lindsay.
Mean Girls. Okay, well, if y'all keep up with Lindsay, we know her last couple of years have been rough.
Train wreck.
We mean rough.
Dumpster
I was
fire.
watching Wendy Williams last night. She's like, she's over it. She's through with Lindsay. But, she got her probation revoked, Judge Stephanie Sotner, because she missed 9 appointments for her community service due
Not
to...
one, not 2, but...
due to overseas work. And my thing with that is, it's priority first. Now, of course, people have followed up saying Lindsay is having money troubles, and if you, of course, she's living a certain lifestyle, so she has to have the money to do it. But if this stuff can get you locked up, because if she is found guilty, or found guilty on November 2nd, which is next week, she can get jail time. And she has basically avoided jail all this time. Like, she's been in there, but she's gotten out like that. And so this could be like truly something. And to me, after all she's been through in these last few years, I think that something would click in her head and be like, dog, this community service means so much more than this photo shoot or this, that, and the other. Like, yeah, we want your career to get back to where it was, but you got to handle business first in that sense. Like, you got to take care of the legal issues like that. Those have time dates.
What I find interesting is that apparently she is serving this community service at a place where...
Those not apparently, she is.
She is like, on pace to wind up at the place where she is serving community service around the age of 36, given her current lifestyle, and that is the L.A. County morgue.
So you're really giving her like 10 years, roughly, because Lindsay's like either 24 or 25, so you're giving her 10 years to live.
I think I'm being kind with 10 years, yes.
I mean, the thing about it is that, of course, when she was on her probation, she had to go get drug tests. And drug test, so she's been, clean of all that. And she is allowed to have alcohol. She still smokes her cigarettes, but to my knowledge, she eats healthy, exercises, because she has a fabulous body. She has a really good. It's not like she's overweight and out of shape. I mean, she might be posing for Playboy for a nice million. So,
well, I mean, if a girl didn't drink constantly and smoke cigarettes, 3 packs a day, she wouldn't have anything to regret for the rest of her life. So good for her. Kim Kardashian, meanwhile, one of your favorites, is in Tyler Perry's new movie. Now, this is news because I don't know whether you want to admit it or not, but she sucks at acting. She cannot act. She's terrible. Argue with me. Tell me I'm wrong.
Okay, well, Kim is, she announced it last week that she's going to be in Tyler Perry's The Marriage Counselor. Ironic, I know, because she just got married. Did you ever see the play? The play is really hilarious. I love the play.
I was going to, and then I just kind of went about my life, and I didn't.
Because if you know, all of his movies kind of stem from his plays that he's done in the past. So, anyway, but I mean, just because of knowing Kim and how she is a perfectionist. She said this on her show plenty of times. She's admitted it. She likes me a certain way. When Prince kicked her off the stage because she didn't want to look crazy, silly for, break it on down, It's like acting, you're becoming somebody else. Like, you're no longer Kim. You're whoever that character is. So if you got to pull your hair or, be secret crying, like, whatever, get so mad that you will knock somebody out, like, get in somebody's face. Like, if you have to do that, then that's the character you have to become. And I feel like in order for her to truly play, because Tyler has always had really good movies. He's always chosen really amazing actors and actresses to portray these characters and bring them to life. And they make you relate. They make you feel. They make you cry, laugh. They're like,
well, this one's going to make you laugh.
We here. And it's like, I don't want it to be like she brings what he has built down because she's afraid to let go. Because, I mean, I love Kim. Kim, I love you, baby. But I don't want it to be like she will bring down what he has built up in that sense, because if you saw her past movies, it's just like it's Kim, not the character she was given,
Translation, dumpster fire.
But, we don't know. She might be taking acting classes. She might blow us out the water. We might be like,
I can tell
you. Kim. Like, we might be so surprised. But right now, just from what the past and just knowing how she is, I'm rooting for her. But I really just don't want her to bring down what he has built over all these years. Because, I mean, I love Tyler Perry. I love a good, like 98% of the movies. I love all his plays. They're hilarious. And they always have good underlying stories. And it takes a lot to portray it and to truly get that, because they always have underlying messages. It's not just the funny and the dramatic, like they always have social messages, always have moral messages, and it's like, can she portray them in the way that they should be and how they were in the past, future? Because Tyler Perry has always, in a sense, had the same message, which is like, keep God first, keep the faith, believe in yourself, you can conquer all. You are strong. Like, he's always had, those are like some of his main morals. And it's just like, can Kim portray that in whatever character? And like, I don't know if it's going to be one of the main characters, but whatever she is given, I just hope that she really digs into it and realize that Kim Kardashian Humphries is gone. Like, I am Susie. If it's Susie, what's your last name?
Pate. Name of the show?
If it's Susie Pate, I am Susie Pate. I'm no longer Kim Kardashian Humphries. I am Susie Pate, and that is what I want to see. Because I will totally.
What is my last name?
I did not know it, baby.
Do I have a handprint on the side of my face right now? Because that was a slap. That's what that was.
I love you.
Well, that makes it all right. Let me tell you something about classes, though. I could take tap dance class for the next 5 years, and at the end of that 5 years, guess what?
What?
I ain't gonna be able to tap dance.
Why?
I don't care how many acting classes she takes. This is gonna be a train wreck.
I'm rooting for you, Kim. I love you. I just really hope that you dig into it and you realize that you're no longer Kim. You are whoever that character is, and I think that plays a big part. Because she could just be playing herself, but I really doubt that. But I just wanted, because like I've seen people, because you know I took drama in high school, and one of the biggest things is you see the growth, especially freshmen, because they're like, oh, you're looking at me, all this, that, and the other, and it's just like, dude, forget like what? Like I'll act a straight fool, like I don't care, and it's like you have to. And when it comes to acting, and when you're an actress, actor, that is the beauty of it, is that you get to enwrap yourself. You get to, for those 20 minutes, you get to become somebody else. You get to be whoever you choose to be. You get to just dig into this world that has no limits. It has no limitations. Like I saw Mary Poppins on at the Fox Theater in Atlanta. They blew my mind away of how it's just like they created all these. It's just so beautiful, the world of the theater, because you just do anything.
Meanwhile, we do have limitations, and that is a time limitation. So that's going to wrap us up for this week. See you back here next week?
Yes, sir.
All right. For Greg, Dano, Laura Ann, I am Josh Pate. Thanks once again for joining us. We'll see you next week. We're out.
What you want? What you want?
Okay. All right.
Against my better. Why are you going to say that? Why do you always downgrade me?
Do you have a problem with it?
Let's just do this.
Is that a problem?
No.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. It is episode 5, Project Pate. We are, as always, broadcasting high top Jordan Hall in Studio 218. The dress is casual. The opinions, as always, are plentiful. And against my better judgment, we welcome Greg Allen in for the first segment of the show today. Welcome, JR.
You are a hater, and I do not appreciate it.
What do you not appreciate about it? I'm letting you come on the show first this week to shine.
That's right. It's my time to shine. Don't you remember that chat room we were in one day a long time ago?
You walked right into that trap. This is not your time to shine. You were here strictly in terms of a scheduling conflict that we had with our other two, and that's why you're leading off the show today. Not to rain on your parade or anything, but that's what's going on.
That's garbage. Good. I didn't want to talk about the chat room, no ways.
Yeah, don't bring that up. Ugh.
Yeah, because there was some bad stuff said in there.
I hope that Gret does not watch.
I hope she doesn't either.